going to talk about the Mick, the experience,
Absolutely.
how it went this time.
Thanks for having me on again, man. I love the Mick. The Mick is so much fun. I heard it referred to this year as the biggest high school reunion, or the high school reunion you haven't been to in a while, that type of thing. And it really is. You see all these people you've built relationships with, and it's really just it's a great place to catch up and have a lot of fun. And this year there were so many new vendors, amazing vendors, and just so many great new contacts we made. Just oh man, it was a fantastic event.
All right, so let's just delve into how let's go into the event now.
So, in the vendor hall, tons of great organizations in there. Some, are standards that have been there every year. But then this year, we left with at least 20 potential interviews for our different shows. A lot of brand new veteran-owned businesses were there doing some amazing things. And, of course, we had some schools there. We had the different businesses, the different organizations, some newer nonprofits that are out there that I hadn't heard of before. So just very excited about that in itself, as we had a lot of potential content out there that we're going to be able to bring forward and teach people about these new organizations and what people are doing. So that's really exciting as far as that goes.
And what do you think? What do you think in the interviews you learned the most about what's happening right now?
So you learn about one, people's heart and what they care about and what they're trying to do and how they're trying to help, which is amazing. And then you see the entrepreneurial spirit and why they started their business and what they're trying to do with it, what gap they saw that they're trying to fill. So that's so motivating. And then the school piece, talking to the schools, you hear about all these great programs they're doing on campus and things like that, which I never went to school while I was in the military on campus. It was always online. So I didn't get to experience that piece of it. So it's neat to hear what they're doing there. And then, of course, we got to do a live podcast as well, which is really cool. It's probably one of the most fun things we do in the podcasting stuff that we've done, is sitting down live on stage and actually talking with somebody. And this year we got to interview Cortez Riggs, who's the guy who runs the MIC, and so to hear his story, oh, so powerful. And then hear the background of the Mick. I didn't even know it, and I've been going for 3 years. So it was great to hear the background of the story and how it started and how it got to where it is, and just how he just continues to try to make it better every year.
So let's what do you think when you talk about talking to these veteran-owned businesses and their passion about being entrepreneurs? What did you hear most? Some excitement, right? That's the one thing about this event is they're excited to be here to share their business.
Oh yeah, like I said at the beginning, it's kind of like a high school reunion. Everybody's coming together. You may not know somebody, but you already have that veteran tie, or military connected tie somehow. So it's almost you're making new friends, you're seeing old friends, and so the passion, the love, the excitement, it's all there. And veteran entrepreneurs, they bring a lot to the table. You have that military discipline, you have that drive, that push to succeed, and then the excitement of starting something that's your own is just unbelievable. And if you're a parent, you definitely understand, because it's like you're another one of your children that you're creating and you're bringing into this world, and hoping grows up to be something great. So yeah, it's fantastic.
All right, let's go more into uh I guess what did you learn? What are you going to do? What's your go-to? You say book a bunch of guests, but what else do you think you're going to take from an event and move forward with?
So yeah, obviously, first thing that I usually go to the MIC with in mind is the finding guests for the shows, and then making those connections and starting to develop those relationships or even friendships in some cases. And I'm excited that I'm able to take these potential guests and then bring it back and book them, and so they get to meet the other co-hosts we have, and start to build those relationships, and so it becomes this networking thing. And then also, as we're going around, been doing this long enough now that I'm getting a little bit better at being a connector myself. So like, oh, you're doing this, let me connect you with this person, or hey, you need to talk to this person, and starting to do that thing, something that I wasn't naturally comfortable doing, but it's starting to become natural because I've been doing this, 3 years and meeting so many people and building relationships and so you get to that point, it's just it's really cool to do that. And they did make the announcement for the next location. It's going to be in Tampa, Florida next year in September. Very excited about that, bringing it to Florida. So I get to stay in state this time. Um, and I mean, Tampa's gorgeous. It's a great place to be. So, I'm sure there'll be quite the draw because there's a lot of beach activity and stuff like that you can do out there. So people will probably be making it not just a couple day event, but probably a week long vacation if they can. So very excited about the upcoming events and what they're doing and got to reconnect with the team that runs the Military Creator Con. That they're talking about their event. It's going to be in um, I think it's Arlington, they said, but essentially Dallas, Texas, next year in April. And it's all about military podcasting, veteran podcasters, military podcasters, that community, and previously it's been part of Podfest. This year they're breaking out, they're doing their own thing. So excited to see what's going on there. And plus it's in an area where I'm going to have the opportunity if I go to meet my co-founder and co-host Mark face to face. He lives in that area. My mentor who pushed me to start VET SOS is in that area. Of course, Kingsley's down there in Texas as well. So, hopefully we get him up there. So it'd be a great opportunity to bring a lot of the VET SOS family together, which would be really exciting.
All right. And all new shows coming up for people coming up this week.
Oh, you put me on the spot. I wasn't ready for that one.
Okay, well, just the whole lineup for next week. Tell us the whole lineup for next
Oh
week. That's
man.
all.
Okay. So we got who do we got coming up on the transition show? We have that's the wrong page. I can't
Okay,
get that
so
from
so
here.
so you gotta always be ready. You never know what questions are going to be asked of you, Shawn,
Yeah,
especially
you
being on the
stumped
road.
me.
Go,
All
yeah.
right. So we have what do we have? We have J Mock coming up next week, which is he was at the Mick. He's another veteran podcaster, focuses a lot on the mental health piece. Really, really great show that he runs out there. He's really concerned about that area of the community and really trying to make some things happen. It's a great conversation. And then on our entrepreneur one, we got Jenna Griffith, who's going to wind up on a couple of our shows. She's doing some amazing things, not only as an entrepreneur, but also as an author and, trying to help the veteran community as well. We'll have an episode of the Education Spotlight coming back as well. University of Missouri St. Louis, smaller campus, but running a pretty cool program. And the scoop is really cool this year. We break out a little bit from the veteran side of it, and we get into a book called Brain Glue, which is like I said, not specifically about veterans, but it's a great conversation. It's a great tool that anybody can use to help themselves mentally, and help that side of their game. So definitely a great conversation, something everybody should check out.
Awesome, amazing things for sure. Go to vetsospodcasts.podcast.com.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, Shawn. Great stuff, and we look forward to talking to you next week.
Yep. See you later now.
All right, you're listening and watching the Neil Haley Show.